Welcome to World of Fire. The flame has always been more than light, more than heat. It is creation and destruction. It is memory and discovery. From ancient myths to modern science, from the fires that shaped history to the sparks that shape tomorrow. This is the story of fire, and I will be your guide. What is fire? Really? We see it all the time. In campfires, candles, the warmth of a stove. It feels familiar, even beautiful. But try to explain what you're actually looking at, and suddenly, it's not so simple. Fire isn't a thing. It's not something you can hold. It's motion, energy, a reaction, unfolding right before your eyes. And then, it's gone. Still, there's something about it, something we just can't look away from. Fire doesn't come from magic, it comes from conditions. There are three essential components. Together, they're called the fire triangle. First, fuel, something that can burn: wood, paper, gas, gasoline, oil. Second, oxygen, usually from the air. Without it, even the most flammable mix won't ignite. And third, temperature, or simply energy. Fire doesn't appear out of nowhere. It needs to be awakened. That could be a spark, sunlight, friction, lightning, anything. Remove even one of these elements, and the fire disappears. And that's exactly how firefighters fight it. By cooling it down, cutting off the air, or removing the fuel. Simple logic. And sometimes, a matter of life. Have you ever noticed how fire behaves? It doesn't stand still. It moves. It wavers. It stretches upward, almost like it's breathing, sometimes calm, sometimes restless. But why? Fire rises because the air around it heats up and becomes lighter. That warm air lifts, and the flame follows. This is called convection. Hot air rises. Cool air flows in from below, and the flame is pulled into motion. Fire doesn't just burn. It gets carried by the flow. But that's not all. Even the slightest movement, a draft, a breath, a single step, creates swirls and ripples that make the flame twist and sway. This is turbulence. Watch a candle sometime. When the room is still, the flame hardly moves. But open a window, and it seems to come alive. It doesn't see you, but it feels you. That's why it seems alive. It reacts. It moves. It changes. But it's not emotion. It's physics. Air. Pressure. Flow. Sometimes it looks like fire has a mood, but really, it just has an environment, and it reflects it, like a mirror. Humans didn't invent fire, we just met it. Fire existed for millions of years before we arrived, and it appeared in places where no campfire had ever burned. Lightning struck dry grass and set forests ablaze. Volcanoes spilled lava, igniting everything in their path. And peat bogs, they could smolder underground for months, even years. Fire has always been part of the planet, not as a threat, but as a process. It clears away the old. It creates fresh soil. It leaves behind ash, and from that, new life grows. Some plants can't even sprout without fire. Their seeds only open under high heat. And after a fire, they finally get light, space, and nutrients. Whole forests, in fact, depend on regular burning. Fire removes dead layers. It destroys disease and pests, and gives room for younger trees to grow. Fire isn't just destruction, it's renewal. This is how Earth has breathed, long before humans ever lit a torch. Humans didn't create fire, but we learned to use it. We saw it in the sky, in lava, in a burning branch after a storm. We stepped closer, carefully. Not sure if we were allowed. We got burned. We backed away. Then, we stepped forward again. We brought it into caves and realized the nights became warmer, and the predators more distant. The earliest signs of controlled fire were found in the Wonderwork Cave in South Africa. Archaeologists uncovered charcoal and burned bones dated to around 1.5 million years ago. Even then, humans had learned to keep fire alive, maybe even to treat it like something living. Of course, it wasn't easy at first. The first fire went out. The second one took the whole shelter with it. The third almost burned the mammoth before they even skinned it. But eventually, we got better. Since then, we've never let fire go. We warm ourselves by it. We build cities with it. And sometimes, we fight it when it escapes. And those who stand on that line today are firefighters. Not just specialists, but true heroes. They understand how fire breathes, how it moves, and what it takes to stop it and save lives. But if you think you already know everything about fire, just wait for episode 2. We'll show you it can be blue, green, violet, sometimes nearly invisible, and sometimes so bright you can't even look at it. It doesn't warm, it blinds. Just wait for episode 2.